In package configuration, SSIS does a read operation. It reads data from configuration file. In package logging, it does a write operation, writing to a package. We will know by demonstrating package configuration, understand the difference between reading and writing. So for package configuration, also right click and select cannot always right click, go to SSIS. So in 2012, they have changed the way the package configuration used to be performed on SSIS package. So you should be okay. So converting all the packages into deployable mode. Okay. You will go right click here. You see package configurations here. So click on package configurations. So here you can create again 5 kind of configurations to an XML file or to an environment variable or to a registry or to a variable, parent project package variable or to an SQL server. The most commonly and friendly option is XML configuration file. So I select XML configuration file, I browse to a location, same location. So in this, we'll give name. Here's the name of the file. This is log file. So I'll name this as config. Okay, next. What are the things you want to make part of configuration file? That can be selected here. Okay, what are the things that I want to make part as configuration file? Mostly configurations are done with connection managers. So I have connection manager. So in this connection manager, I will select database connection manager. In that, I will select server name. Initial catalog is for database name and username. Else, I will select connection string. Connection string will get everything. Connection string will have everything. See, alternatively, you can see what will be part of an SSIS output configuration file. SSIS output configuration file. Okay, I'll select this, and from email address, maybe in the future I want to change the log file location. Variables, properties, say again connection string. Okay, here connection string. Okay, that's it. So I am making log file and database connection configurable externally. Name this is a name internally in SSIS package to maintain it. Okay, so what happens with this? In the destination location, the location which I gave, a config file will be created. So this is a config file. This is of XML type. Open with any browser or notepad. Browser for better readability. So this is a configuration being generated. Alternatively, I can open this configuration file with the notepad also. So this is a configuration file. So what happens when I next time there is a change in the environment, the database name is changed, or the file location, the log file location is changed, or I want to change the log file location. I don't need to open the package and do the change. I can go to this file and do the change and run the package. Package will take the new settings from the configuration file and execute the package. So this is the advantage of having a configuration file. Without opening the package, externally source details, destination details, or internally the package variable values can also be modified. Maybe I have a variable like conversion rate, dollar to USD conversion, INR to USD conversion rate file variable. So day to day the value will change. So if I make it extremely configurable, then I can change the variable value externally without opening the package. So these are configuration files. So the way we create and read the configuration files is entirely changed in SQL Server 2012. So remember, configuration files, we at the time of creating a configuration file, only then the data is written into that file. Thereafter, every time the package runs, data is read from the configuration file. Every time data will be read from the configuration file. Whereas package logging is every time data will be written to the log file. Every time you execute, data will be written to the log file. It gets replaced every time. So that is with package logging and package configuration. So the more efficiently you do package logging and package configuration, the better the package can be maintained after the delivery without much headache to the supporting. Else every time supporting will ban developers. In this session, we will discuss about event handlers. Event handlers in SSIS. So these event handlers are in place mainly for control flow. So if anything wrong happens in control flow, whether it be for data flow task or whether it be for SQL task or any other task in control flow, if there is an error occurred, then how you want to handle it? Maybe this SQL statement has failed. So select this, go to event handlers. In the event handlers, click here. So right now the event handler selected is on error. If there is an error, how you want to handle it? We can select on which task you want to create on. maybe at a package level I'm doing this. So the package, if there is an error occurs, okay, if there is an error occurs, uh, I want to send a mail to administrator. So I will drag in send mail task and I configure it. Right now I don't have an SMTP server configured in the system on the system. So configuration is very simple. You have to give SMTP connection, that is SMTP server IP, so you an IP, then from email address to email address, CCC, what is the message, all that they can give and then configure. If anything wrong happens in this task, a mail should to will be sent to the guy who is configured in this send mail task. To demonstrate this event handlers, what I will do is I will put a script task rather than sending data to a database or to a text file. So you can do a lot of programming. You see, entire control flow tasks are available for this event handlers. So you can actually drag a data flow task and then again do another data pipeline. That is possible in event handlers. In event handlers, you can design again an SSIS package altogether. Exception scenario. If something wrong happens in the main flow, alternate what is a backup plan that can be configured by event handlers. I can put a script task here, and in the script task, I will print, I will show a message for demonstration purpose. I will show a message indicating that there has an error occurred in the package execution. If an error occurs, this is all I'm doing in this script task. On error, only if there is an error or on failure. So you can actually this event handlers can be done at a event level. Now I have done this one on error. If something I want to do on fail, so this is on fail. So the different programming I can do on failure. Okay, right now I'll do only on error and control flow. I will stimulate a error scenario. Maybe the table name I will do a wrong table name. Now run this and see what happens. This fails. That's why error occurred in the execution. This is sent by event handler. Because the error has occurred, then event handler immediately shot a message. If same thing, I have the fail, task fail. This time I will put in the message here in the here I'll type as fail, and here I will just differentiate between the different events. I'll put an extra text. It is happening. Okay, it is taking longer than expected. Something might have got stuck up. Remember, event handling is done only for control flow tasks, not for data flow tasks. But you can do event handling for a DFT, data flow task. Data flow task at a control flow level. Data flow task starts from a control flow, right? So you will drag a control data flow task in the control flow and then go to data flow pipeline. Use various data flow tasks and design ETL there. So this is kind of exception handling for control flow. So what is exception handling for data flow? The exception handling for data flow is error path redirection. Error path redirection is exception handling for data flow. So it is taking. Okay, I have it open here. So I have two different event handlers for the same package at the same task level, one for failed, one for error. Run our erroneous package. Okay. So it says error occurred in the execution, and this is being thrown by error event handler on error event handler. Then you see now, so first we will get a warning that there is a possibility of error. Then it will actually fail. During the failure, it will send data message from failed task. So that's a video of event handlers. You can design event handlers for a specific event that occurs. If it executes, if execution begins, then you want to send some message. If warning occurs, then you want to send. If error occurs, then you want to send some message. Decide on the event and then configure type tasks, control for tasks or data for tasks in event handlers. That's all. There is no error, then nothing will be touched in event handler section. Plain execution. So this task will run only at the time of a failure. I mean, the way you design them. If you design them to run on failures, then they will run only on failures. Mostly, they will be used for sending mails or logging into a table or a file, whatever the error has occurred. In this package, we have demonstrated end-to-end framework. Okay, thank you.
I'm sure you enjoyed learning from this video. Please like the video, and if you have any doubts regarding this video, please comment us in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such informative videos. Do look out for other related videos in our playlist. For more information, visit our website now. Keep learning with Intellipaat.